What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on, y'all? This is Stevie B back to the Matrix live, trying to bring up some new topics about the Celtics and where things stand with Kyrie, with or without. And going into the playoffs, we all seem to want to act surprised. Everybody in the mainstream media wants to act surprised with the activity, you know, going on. Basically, the fact that Terry Rozier is for real. I said it at the beginning of the season, and every time someone goes down, and Jaylen Brown is given the ability to assert himself as the main scorer or the primary guy with the ball in his hands, whatever the case may be. Um, Ultimately, we see how that goes, and the man continues to step his game up. The man continues to show up in the clutch. The man continues to look like that dude, and he's only in the second year of his career, you know. Um, and what's awesome is the fact that him and Jason Tatum, being the fact that they're both wings, they are not the same wing, and that's really where the funny thing comes into play. The fact that Jason Tatum is more of a already has a polished step back jumper or a off the dribble jumper. Has no problem pulling up for three in anybody's face. He has a shot that shot so high that no one can really block him. And obviously his length in terms of when he drives, he's showing that his length allows him to put the ball in the hole in different ways. Jaylen Brown is more of a rough rider, the dude who's going to get into the paint, try and when no one else can, he's gonna basically force it into the paint, try and make a play, which they did last night. Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Nobody's looking at that threesome, all in itself. So the fact that the team keeps losing, and that no Marcus Morris, no Al Horford, but forgetting the crucial pickup of Greg Monroe, which I love, what I'm continuing to see out of him and how he's getting better. And I just feel like that he's getting more comfortable within exactly what he can do in our system, and the fact that it seems like out of all the bigs, we don't go to Al Horford in the post like that, but they try to run the offense through Greg Monroe, which is a really good idea, and it's a nice weapon to have, given the what it's going to take to win a playoff series. We can't just rely on having Al Horford. That's why they brought in Baines. That's why they brought in Monroe, because you got to have other guys who are big and can protect the paint when you got maybe some big boys to deal with, or ways to score in closer to the basket. Not saying Al can't, but we don't feature Al that way that much, if at all. So basically, let's just cap it off there and talk about the fact that the Celtics have a solid rotation all the way through, and Kyrie or no Kyrie, if you give everybody else, coming back for the playoffs, that means Marcus Morris, that means Al Horford, that means you'll have Monroe and Baines, that means you'll have, unfortunately, no Daniel Theis. Daniel Theis was one of my guys this year who I may have put out one video throughout this whole season, but it was Daniel Theis that pretty much gave me, the most, confidence in terms of a big man, sort of a power forward defender coming off the bench, someone who can put the ball in the hole, and Greg Monroe is making me very confident in that fact. We have big guys who can put the ball in the hole at the hole, and with you couple that with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, when they, Jaylen Brown's ability to put the ball in at the hole, in and around the basket, he has an ability to put the ball in the hole. That's been one of his attributes. That's what was his main attribute when he came in. Terry Rozier, like I said, has been my guy from the jump, from the beginning of the season. who I said is going to, and think I said midway through the season, he's going to play himself off this team because he's going to play himself into a major contract. He's going to be given this first series of the playoffs, and I believe he's going to show out. Okay. And not because he has to, but because it's going to be there for him to, you know. So much attention is going to be paid to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Al Horford and Marcus Morris for what he has shown. Marcus Morris is automatic 20 points a night with Kyrie out. That seems to be the case. Anybody, or if a Jaylen Brown needs to sit down, Marcus Morris is getting 20 that night. The man has got a clutch gene I didn't know existed. If you want to ask me who the better of the twins is, I'm seeing it. I've seen his Markieff Morris in the playoff series over the past couple of years. I'm giving the nod to Marcus Morris because I've never seen Markieff play like this. But at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. The Celtics are where they need to be moving forward, and are so much better constructed than anyone gives them credit for. I love what I'm seeing in Nader. I know he had a 3-point ability when he came in, but he's playing confidently in terms of the way he hustles on the defensive end and the way he, legit just plays defense, and then when he is starting to drive to the basket in ways he did like last night, a few games ago, these are little things people don't notice that adds depth to your team, and all these guys are going to gain so much experience going into the playoffs this year. Tatum seems to have I don't give a crap, sort of a superstar gene in him anyway, where he just he believes it's his, and he knows what he's capable of. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about what he's going to be like in like 3-4 years. But all of that set aside, more to be spoken this week. Last night's recap against. I'm not going to say the Jazz are a pretty good team. So we got to give them their just due. And that's pretty much that. Donovan Mitchell looked good. They're one of the better defending teams in the league. I wanted to see what Donovan Mitchell looked like, particularly against a good defensive team against us. And he looked pretty good. I can't really knock that dude, and he's going to be a lot better. A lot of people are saying he might even out to be. No, I think the dude's got some potential in him. You can see it in his boss status, and the way his swag is, and he wants it. If he puts in the work, I'm sure he can be an all-star in this league coming. But shout out to the Celtics. We'll get back to more. Coming back to y'all later.